This is going to sound weird, but trees are living beings that can communicate. I know, right? I have a number of stories that I wrote about in my book, but I'm going to tell you one story today, get the ball rolling. I was up in Canada, camping, canoeing, all things with the letter C. And first of all, no, I'm not going to get into that story. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm looking across the lake that we're at, and there's no wind. So the leaves on the trees were just stagnant. And I'm looking across, but I could tell in the back, like trees in the back, I started to see a wave of trickling leaves. And this wave was coming forward. But the wave of the leaves waving was just in that line. And I kind of noticed that there was like an opening, that there was a spring or something, there was an opening there that I hadn't noticed before. So could the wind be just trickling down that one little area? You would think the wind would be affecting more of the trees and the leaves. And it wasn't. And as I'm watching and this wave is coming closer to me, it kind of breaks out along the shoreline with the other trees. So it's like they're back there and it's wiggling and it's coming towards me, and then it breaks out along. And I could see the tree heads bobbing and waving and doing all this stuff. And all of a sudden, out come a bunch of canoers. And they enter the lake. So evidently there was this stream big enough for people to be canoeing in. But what it said to me was like, oh my gosh, those trees were talking to each other and announcing the canoers. They were letting the rest of the trees know, and probably the animals they were letting the community know that there were some humans coming forward. And ever since then, I started to pay attention to trees and I started to talk to them specifically. And I know it's going to sound really weird, but they will react if you watch and take a moment and listen. And I think today we're so involved in social media and our phones. We're not paying attention to that. And I have a feeling that the indigenous people back then knew about that. The Native Americans were probably like, oh, Uncle Dan's coming. The trees are introducing him. Here he comes. Here comes Uncle Dan in his canoe. Oh, get the stew ready, bring up the fires, we're having company. But we're so distracted now that we're not paying attention to it. And we need to connect. So I know it sounds weird, but trees can communicate.